And we are live. What's going on, everybody? I am Adam. This is Highly Articulated, and I need to edit my name. You all know where you are. There we go. Yeah, it's been a while. I keep thinking that I'm going to get back onto a regular schedule. I keep thinking that I'm going to be sort of going every Sunday, and I keep sort of prepping for every Sunday, and then things come up. Life happens. Family things take precedence. So if I'm not on here, it probably means that one of my kids has an activity that sort of coincides with 2 o'clock, and it just doesn't work out. I think it was gymnastics last week. Anyway, lots going on in toys right now. Lots going on. Some stuff that's sort of going on right now, some stuff that was going on sort of last week that I wanted to talk about. um I'm so, I'll be totally honest, I'm so out of touch with like the time frame of when everything is happening. Yojo June is going on right now because it's June. I know that. That being said, a lot of the things that are going to be revealed I've sort of known about for a while. I've heard rumors, I've seen, leaks, I've seen, all the things. And so I'm just very very excited when the official reveals start catching up to the things that I've heard or the things that I've seen or whatever. And you know, GI Joe is probably my first love toy wise. It is definitely the brand that has the most nostalgia attached to it for me. I am going to Joe Fest towards the end of June. So June is going to be a GI Joe heavy month for me, coinciding very much with what's going on for Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. So the Backercade is still going for Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. I will be going to Joe Fest in an Animal Warriors of the Kingdom capacity. I'll be working the table with Jason and Derek. So that's going to be fun. And the Joe Fest is funny. I've never been to Joe Fest before. I'm very, very excited to go to Joe Fest, but I'm going to be going, on behalf of Spiro Toys and sort of working for the company there. And the things that I'm most excited to see aren't even GI Joes. I'm really, really excited to see the Skeletron stuff. I'm really excited to see the Delta 17 stuff. I'm extremely excited to see the Creative Beast Studio stuff, both the Beasts of the Mesozoic as well as any Cyberzoic stuff they might have. I'm also just excited to hang out with people. Some that I've never met before, some that I've met before and don't get to hang out with very often because they don't live in Western Canada. But yeah, I mean, June is always a really, really fun month because there's a whole bunch of toy news and there's a whole bunch of like just cool stuff going on. It's also, June, kids get out of school. It's sort of like this whole season of fun and this whole season of playtime and getting outside and doing stuff. So I had to do some yard stuff today. I was mowing the lawn, but while I was doing that, I got to ride on lawnmower. I will say that I got a big yard, so I got to ride on lawnmower. And I was thinking about, where we could set up toys. Where would the his tank and the vamp look? There was a spot. We've got some solar panels, and there's some like concrete near there. And I was like, oh, that would make for like a good episode, of GI Joe. And just sort of thinking about things in terms of play. So I'm just excited. I'm just happy about the season that we're in. So I'm very, very excited to be hanging out here talking about toys with you guys. We are going to talk about some of the Yojo June reveals that we've seen, a couple of the rumors, a couple of the things that I am hoping to sort of hear or see. I will be talking about what the Mythic Legions just dropped a wave. We'll be talking about that, and I will also be talking about ramen, the food, not the toy company. But stay tuned for that. That'll just be sort of a fun one just at the end. But Amanda was the first to comment, only because I said I will see you in an hour and then sort of locked myself in my office. Messy Photography is here. Payne's Toy Samples, Stars hanging out, Brick something. Brian Brink has also shown up very promptly, which is awesome. I'll start work on my backer kit submission today. No rush. You've got time, but the sooner the better. But yeah. Let's see. Star says, counting the original Joes is probably the longest running franchise that we deal with in here. Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, you're going back to the 70s, right? For the sort of the original ones. For the purposes of what I'm interested in, it's really 1982, but I mean that's still a very, very good run. So let's see. Let's see. Star says 1960s. So there you go. I admittedly I wasn't around. So I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a good run for the Joes, I think. And yeah, it's interesting that they're doing like the 60th anniversary. So I know I should have done the math. 60th anniversary obviously puts them into the 60s. But the 60th anniversary stuff is going strong. I mean, I've got the two that they've released. The sort of leaks are showing two more for Yojo June. There are rumblings of two more after that. So I like what they're doing there. I like that they're sort of taking those original 60s 12-inch Kung Fu grip action figures and sort of updating them and adding more detail and adding cool features within the classified line. So they're not just redoing the 12-inch figures, but they're doing something really, really cool with the 60th anniversary stuff. And I'm digging it. I mean, I like them for a couple of reasons. I mean, the one, the 60th anniversary nod is obviously really, really cool, but I'm also really liking that they're doing, figures that are a little bit more realistic, but also unnamed figures. They're great for troop builders. They're great for building up, fodder and having cool accessories for customizing and kit bashing for G.I. Joe, which is honestly, that's kind of the coolest thing for me. Like adding that diver means that I can have torpedo plus another diver. Getting those soldiers, the soft goods. We haven't seen soft goods with G.I. Joe in the classified line apart from that. So getting those into the line is just really, really cool. And it feels like a bonus to me. It just feels like, you can now sort of build out the world a little bit more. To that point, my lovely wife, trying to do something very, very nice, picked up some used toys to donate. And when she went to donate them, the place where she was going to donate them said, we don't want them. Apparently they were too good for those used toys. So so she had this dollhouse. It's like a Barbie sized dollhouse. But as many of you know, Barbie and 112 action figures, the Barbie stuff doesn't quite scale all the way up to how big Barbie is. Barbie's kind of more like a 1/6 scale. But when they do vehicles and play sets and things like that, they're kind of somewhere in the middle. There's a weird disconnect between the scales there. So she was gonna put it on the side of the road and let somebody else pick it up. And I said, you know what? Leave it. I'll take it. I'm going to repurpose it, and I can't decide, but I'm leaning. I'm either going to do some sort of Cobra base, some sort of Cobra. What was it called? The Cobra, the Pyramid of Darkness. Is that what they call the actual Cobra base? There's a name for the Cobra base, or the pit. I thought I might do the pit. That would kind of be cool. There's a staircase in there. We could kind of do it so that the top floor is like above ground and the rest is below ground. We'll see. Stay tuned. That's kind of my Yojo June project, and I'm trying to do it like fast and dirty, and just spray it, just sort of prime it, spray it one color, and then add a few little details here and there, but really just get it done, and sort of have it for a playset. Because I know myself, and I know that I have a habit of like starting projects like that and then getting busy, and then they get pushed to the back, and I start another project, and I really want to get that done, because that gives us, again, get it outside in the summer, get playing with it, get figures in there, and then that's what it's all about. So that's that's housekeeping update on sort of what I'm up to. Let's get into the GI Joe stuff, and that is, of course, StreamYard permitting. Let's see if I can. Okay, I think this is gonna work. Let's find out. Let's find out, shall we? StreamYard is permitting today, so we get to look at this. So this is the first leak that we saw. So this is the retro carded Cobra Trooper, looking, for all intents and purposes, very much like the original 1982 release there. Actually, that might be the 83. That might be the 1.5 swivel arm. Yeah, it is. It's right there in the corner. It says swivel arm battle grip. So that's the 1.5 from 1983. Now, as far as I can tell, what we are looking at with this retro carded trooper is a full use from the neck down of the existing Cobra Trooper. It's the Cobra Officer head. It appears to be the Cobra Officer helmet, and then the web gear, so the chest straps, and then the knife sheath and the pistol holster all appear to be from Stalker. We get Spirit's sniper rifle, we get Stalker's pistol, Stalker's knife, and then the other weapon there we've seen a few times. I think the first time we saw it was with Snow Serpent, but I think we've seen it with the Valkyrie, and a couple other spots as well. This one is pretty cool. The retro stuff is cool, but I got a lot of the Cobra Island Troopers. I got a lot of the Cobra Infantry, the sort of standard release of the Trooper, and I'm good. I mean, I got a bunch of officers as well. So this retro Trooper doesn't do as much for me as it does, I think, for people that either missed the Cobra Island Troopers or just weren't army building at the time. Maybe they're a little bit later to the line, something like that. So the retro Trooper, thankfully, is one that I can pass on. Just to sort of show what we're looking at. Like I said, the figure is going to be basically this figure. So this is the Cobra Infantry, not the Cobra Island Trooper. But this body, so the torso, the legs, the boots, the everything from the neck down, apart from the secondaries, and then the secondaries are going to be Stalkers. So that's the straps here, even the pistol. So the pistol that we get, right up here is obviously two pieces. It's the pistol and the silencer, and those are the same ones that we see on Stalker here, and then the knife and the sheath there. So great way to reuse that stuff. I'm excited for people to get them. I'm genuinely excited. Now the only thing that I'm kind of bummed about is that this really nice vibrant blue, if they're going with the vintage inspired blue, I think it's going to be a beautiful looking trooper. I think it's going to be really, really nice on the shelf. I think that blue is really going to pop. But still not enough reason for me to pick up 4, 6, or 8 of these. I'm good with the, what have I got? I think between the Cobra Island Troopers and the infantry, I think I got about a dozen of those, and then I've got 4 of the officers, and then so I'm good. I'm good on troops for now as far as Cobra goes, until they do new troops, of course. Let's see what you guys are saying in here. Brian Brink says, I hope they make tons of these troopers. I want to pick up a bunch of them on sale. That's an interesting thing. I've seen a few people kind of saying the same thing. There's a certain amount of like clearance chicken that I think a lot of people are playing as far as army builders go. And it's tough because these are more expensive than they were when we were buying them, a couple years ago. Most of the troop builders that I got on sale, but it was just sort of normal sales that were happening. It wasn't discount sort of clearance stuff. It was just normal regular sales. Being in Canada, Toys R Us still, was doing like 20% off. So you'd get a GI Joe figure at retail less 20%, and that was enough incentive for me to buy a bunch, which is why I bought a bunch. I don't know if we're going to see much of these go on sale. I think a lot of the companies have sort of tightened up production. I think they figured out, how many units they can sell at regular price. I think they've kind of figured out army building a little bit better. So I don't know. I don't know what we're going to see on sale going forward. I I don't know, but I mean, I'm curious, and I genuinely kind of think that we're just not going to see the deep discounts that we were seeing a couple years ago going forward. But that's my 2 cents. Star says the newer figures look like they've been hitting the gym since the 80s. I figured that the trooper figures would be one of the higher sellers due to army building. Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I think they're going to make enough. That being said, are they going to make so many that they're being cleared out at Ollie's and the other places that you guys have? We don't have that stuff, so I don't really see that. But yeah, I don't know. Brian Brink, maybe they'll be good to us and put out a multi-pack of troopers. I would love to see that. They did. The problem is the last few times that they've done that, they've kind of taken multi-packs as an opportunity to like actually make the price a little higher by adding in stuff that we might not have asked for, blast effects and extra weapons and so on and so forth. I would love to see what they did with like Marvel Legends a few years ago when they had like the Hellfire Club little troop builder, or the Hydra troop builder, where instead of full packaging, you get just a very, very simple. You could just do you could just do the way they did. Sorry, I'm still congested, so I've got an itchy nose and a foggy head, but I would love for them to do it like they were doing Classified when it was plastic-free packaging, but really strip it back. Just do a brown cardboard box with an insert for the figure, and then a foot locker for the accessories. Charge $15 a figure, and just re-release stuff. Right? Maybe it's a different color. Maybe it doesn't come with as many accessories. Just give us that Cobra Trooper. Just give us this Cobra Trooper right here, and just this weapon accessory right here, and do it for $15. I don't think you'd have anybody complain. The people would complain because they couldn't get enough of them. That would be the complaint that I would predict. And just make it so that every, I don't know, every 6 months, every year, you just sort of re-up, take pre-orders for it, and just make more. I mean, you'd already have the mold, you'd already have the SKU and the system. I feel like there's a way for them to do evergreen figures as far as troop builder figures go. I'm honestly just kind of shocked why companies don't. I'm confused that they can't quite figure that out, but I don't know. Star, have they kept the quality of the newer figures up given the hard state of the current economy? Yes and no. It's weird because it's hit or miss. There's been some that have been very, very good. Clutch, who who happens to be sitting in the vamp right next to me. Clutch, I thought was really, really good. What are some other recent figures? Mutt and Junkyard were really good. Like, there's been really good ones, and then there's been ones that were a little subpar. The plastic wasn't as good, or the articulation wasn't as good, or the sculpt or the paint or whatever. But it's been hit or miss. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of weird in that way that it's just been inconsistent. Um, Star says, I suspect that Hasbro is going the same route as Hot Toys. My buddy told me that Hot Toys is making a fewer number of figs per release for profit reasons. Hasbro doing the same. That is what I have been led to understand. Hasbro doesn't like that, figures would be getting out there discounted and getting put on clearance and ending up at, Ollie's and Big Lots and, dollar stores or whatever. And so they're just going to make fewer of them. And then, if you don't get it at retail, you might not be able to get it is kind of the thing. I have always been of the opinion that if there's something that you want and you see it, you buy it. And I know that's easier said than done. I mean, it means that I can get fewer figures. But it kind of means that the figures that I really do want, I'm more likely to get them. You know what I mean? I'm not playing clearance chicken. I don't do that. If I want something, I will buy it. If there's money left over at the end of the month, if there's money left over, once I've paid for things that I've pre-ordered and all that kind of stuff, that's when I look at, okay, is there something on clearance? Is there something on sale? Is there, one more thing that I might pick up that was like a maybe thing, not a need thing. Yeah, I mean, it's everybody's different and everybody's sort of buying patterns are different. And, you do you collect how you like. But waiting for figures to show up at clearance, I think is a little bit riskier in 2024 than it was in the last few years. I do like with the retro carded figures that they're going like this looks, these look pretty similar, and I really like that. Obviously because of the scale difference, you can't really set it up quite the same way. So the classified stuff goes vertical. Whereas, what just happened there? What? Why did that disappear? Oh, jeez. Hold on. Let's see here. Oh, I think I know what happened. I think that was my fault. Okay, here we go. That wasn't on StreamYard. That one was on me. It's doing it again. Why is it doing that? It's just skipping slides. I just have this on slides so that it'll share. But yeah, I think I'm digging what they're doing as far as posing out, doing the art to sort of match it, but then updating the art so that the art actually looks like the figure. My only complaint is still, and this is not my complaint alone. There's sort of there's other people that have made this comment. The white border around a G.I. Joe, carded figure was something that just feels iconic. It feels like it needs to be there. The cards have gotten thicker. The cards have gotten better. I just want them to do the white border. Then I'll be happy. As I said, sorry, I'm trying to adjust on the fly here. And the slideshow is great, except when I click any button, it seems to change the slide. So there we go. Let's see. Brick says, yeah, sell army builders in a basic white box with a tiny image of 50 flag points small on the outside. Yeah, that'd be fine. And it just, it could just say Cobra Trooper on it. It doesn't have to have any art whatsoever. If you really needed to, you could use, this art just in a black and white, outline. Even it doesn't even have to be like grayscale or anything like that. Um, but I agree. I mean, doing the army builders at a discounted price to me is kind of a no brainer. Um, yes, Ray, Full Force had all this stuff on. He was live while I was prepping, and I was just trying to sort of ignore his stream, so that I could sort of do my own thing. Larry Reed is here as well. I wish they nailed the color exactly. That would have gave it that extra bump in the feels. They might have. I mean, we haven't actually seen the reveal. We haven't seen an actual version of this figure, in the sense that all we've seen is effectively one leaked photograph, and so we haven't seen what the color looks like. We may get to Yojo June, the Hasbro official reveal, and they may show these two figures next to each other, and they might be bang on the same shade of blue. I agree with you. It should be bang on the same shade of blue, if that's what you're saying, because that's the way they need to do these retro carded ones. They need them to be like almost bang on, to the point where, like, my nitpick complaint is that I want this web gear to just be black, like the original figure is. I don't need the hits of gray. It's done it again. What's going on here? There we go. There's the slide I want. If I move my mouse too much, apparently it's changing. So, yeah, I would love to see it be the exact same shade of blue, because that's where the nostalgia is, I think. Star says, I can't remember the last time I saw a figure that was a must-have on clearance anywhere. I'm not a gambler, so waiting for clearance sales is not an option. I'm the exact same way, Star. I'm the exact same way. I am not a gambler. I know which figures I want. I know which figures I don't want. So I buy the ones that I want when I see them, and I move on. I don't get upset when they go on clearance. I don't get upset, if they're easy to find later when I thought they might be hard to find. I don't worry about that stuff. I order what I want, and I'm sort of committed to my purchase, and I move on. So, yeah, I'm not a gambler either. I explain this to my 8-year-old daughter, who always wants to bet me. I say I never make bets that I don't know that I'm going to win, and she still bets me sometimes. I think she owes me like $20 at the moment, but anyway. The real Zim says, I missed most of the other Cobra Troopers, so I'm troop building this day one. I think that's I think it's great that they sort of, there's another option for a troop builder now. There's another option. And I think it's really, really cool, actually, that this is probably like the option that most people wanted from the jump. I think this is probably the OG troop builder that people wanted in their collections. I really like the infantry. I really like the Cobra Island Trooper. I really like the Cobra Officer. So I'm happy that this is out there for people that are, as I said, maybe missed the Cobra Island stuff, maybe didn't get enough of the infantry, maybe new to the line, whatever the case may be. It's cool that they are going to continue to do, troopers that are army builders, that sort of gives people the opportunity to get these, because I think, especially for Cobra, you need these guys as fodder. You need these guys to be very easily defeated by your named Joe characters. Ray Paz, I get mad since I paid full price. Not gonna front. That's fair. I get it. I mean, I get it. I think part of it for me is that I'm not in a region of the world where I get things on clearance. So I don't. It's very rare that I have that opportunity. So maybe it's different depending on where you live. So, Billionaire says, I'm a get it as soon as I see it type of collector. Yeah, me too. Billionaire says, I lucked out on the Cobra Island Troopers. They're fine. That's exactly where I'm at too. I lucked out on those big time. Big time. I sold more Cobra Island Troopers than I kept, and I still have as many as I could have ever wanted. So, Star says, you don't think that giving the new figures a mild upgrade takes them too far away from the original to scratch the nostalgia itch? Won't the newer bodies alone do that? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like the simplicity of the just plain black web gear. Personally, the painted web gear feels to me a little bit more like the modern Joes. It doesn't feel as much like the vintage Joes. So that's where the difference is for me. I also think that the officer was kind of more like, if they wanted full nostalgia, the officer body is probably more full nostalgia than this body is. So there is already an upgrade there. So with I don't know. I mean, everybody's going to be different. I think I think you put it on the retro card, and and people, it's instantly a Cobra Trooper. Like, it's instantly recognizable despite the modern touches, I think. Everybody's different. That's my preference. Like I said, I'm probably not going to buy this. So this figure wasn't as much for me as some other people. And that's fine. I'm happy that that a bunch of people are going to get the chance to troop build. Now, that being said, we have the other reveal. Moving right along, the other leaked reveal is, of course, the Cobra, what they're calling the Cobra Night Attack 4-wheel drive Stinger and driver. This is, for me, as somebody that absolutely loves the Vamp and I'm gonna buy, probably gonna buy every version that they do. This is a day one buy. I'm not waiting for this to go on clearance. I'm not waiting for this to show up anywhere else. Tell me where to send the money, and I will be picking up 2 of these. And the reason that I need 2 of these is because of that Stinger driver. That's, to me, that's Trooper. So I need 2 of those figures. Do I need 2 Stingers? That's debatable, but I definitely need 2 of that figure. And so I'm just going to get 2 of these and sort of see what happens to the second Stinger. I'll probably just keep it. But yeah. This is, again, a whole lot of reuse. So it's obviously Vamp reuse. It definitely has a different grill on the front. It's got, it looks like it's got sort of claws on the front. It has the missile launcher rack on the back. Now, of course, that missile launcher will probably get reused when they do the Vamp Mark II. We also have the roof and the doors. Those will probably get reused when we see a Tiger Sting. The figure itself, as far as I can tell, is like 100%. Now, I don't know what the accessories are going to be. But that's the vintage Cobra Stinger driver. For the sake of visuals, I initially had the Cobra Officer, because most of this is, or some of it is Cobra Officer. I hadn't looked at this Python Patrol one very closely, but basically what we're getting in the Python Patrol one is, I believe, 100% what we're getting in the driver. It's hard to make out, and I could be wrong. The forearms and the boots might be different, but if you look at the little dagger here, so this dagger and this web gear, you see this painted red pouch here. You see the two-tone face here. So I think that's the red is like the grill, and then the black. So we're looking at, I think, this head. So the Cobra, the Island Trooper head, not the officer head. The Cobra Trooper body, but with the sort of gloves and boots that are the officer. So that's sort of a mix and match going on in the Python Patrol figure. But I think we're going to get basically this exact figure in this exact deco. That's my guess. With this head, the alternate head, rather than the officer head. That's my prediction. There's that knife right there, even with the red handle. So I'm as I said, I'm quite certain that that's what we're getting for the figure. So it's all reuse. There's not much new tooling. There's not much new going on. This is going to be a fan channel So we're going to see this through, online retailers, specialty toy retailers, as well as presumably Amazon. I suspect Hasbro Pulse will get this as well. I am 100%, day one going to be picking up 2 of these from ecollectibles.ca. So very, very excited for this. Let's see. Ray, in the next few months, I bought the retro carded trooper figure. No, I won't be, because I like I said, I don't need it. I'm good for blue troops. They would have to do something very dramatically different to get me to buy more blue troops at this point. I'm gonna use that trooper money that I'm not spending on those to pick up more Street Fighter stuff. Star says, I enjoy the upgrades as long as it's clearly born of the original and it's identifiable. I'm good. The upgraded Micronauts from Fan again. Can't wait. Yeah, so it's exactly, that's how I feel about the classified line. I don't need them to be exact, reproductions scaled up. I want them to have, upgraded touches, but still be instantly recognizable. So. Brian says, yes, 2. I'm also going in for 2 stingers, 1 to keep original and another to kit out with Gridiron Studios upgrades. That's a good call. That's a very, very good call. Star says they're still carrying German broom-handled Mausers as sidearms. Wow, there's some nostalgia for you. Yeah. I mean, Cobra, with all their money, clearly, can only afford, used sidearms. The Real Zim says, I'm getting a few of the stingers. I just run out of space. Like two per vehicle is my max. I got 2 Hiss, 2 Vamps, 2 Trouble Bubbles. The motorcycles are the exceptions. I got too many Rams. I got too many Coil Cycles. I got 2 Dragonflies coming. Brian Brink says, "Whoa, wide release for the Stinger this time around, not just Pulse." That is my understanding. My understanding is that it is a fan channel. So, as I said, ecollectibles.ca up here in Canada. But, Hella Dope Toys or Big Bad Toy Store or whoever would potentially have this as well. So that makes it a little bit more accessible. I also like that it's not going, the Target route or the Walmart route, because again, it's sort of limiting the sort of channels. Most of the retailers that are going to buy this aren't going to be willing or able to just put this on, a 60% clearance a week after it goes live. And that's not what Hasbro wants. So I think it's smart of them to do it this way. Ray, I hope they put out a reissue of the Vamp. That's a weird one. I thought it would be readily available for a long, long time. I thought that was sort of a no-brainer. I do think it is possible. And as I've sort of said about Pulse sort of controlling the distribution a little bit better and sort of Hasbro being more conscientious and more conscious and more aware of distribution, I wonder if they're not sitting on Vamps. I wonder if the strategy is make a whole bunch of them and sell them in small batches and sell them in big enough batches that people can get them, but small enough batches that not everybody gets one, and that there's still some in the warehouse for something like Yojo June, or this is where they might be doing something to sort of keep something evergreen, because I think the Vamp is one of those vehicles where 100% they could release a certain number of units every 3 months, every 6 months, and and people will kind of just keep coming back, and then you never have to sell them at a discount. It just makes sense to me. And then I know that people, will see that and sort of hear that sort of logic or strategy and go like, well, okay, that they're creating like false scarcity or whatever. I don't think it's false scarcity. I think it's just realistic to sort of keep some demand there. It just makes sense to me, but they're also not saying like get it before it's gone. They're not, they're not pushing people to buy it under any sort of false pretenses. They could also have sold through what they've got, and they could wait a year to make more. Again, they have the molds. They're doing the Stinger. If they do the Stinger, The mold will be taken up for that purpose. But as soon as the stinger's gone, I could 100% see them put the vamp back in production, make a smaller run than the second time. Then again, you make a smaller run for the third production run. You make a smaller run for the fourth. Like, you just make less every time. But eventually you would just sort of get to the point where it's not worth making it, right? So that's just how it works. I've got 2. I don't need another one. So if they re-release them, I'm not going to buy another one. But somebody that missed it might. Somebody that bought 1 that might want 2 to customize or do a Gridiron Studios thing might buy a second one. But what you run into is that the demand decreases every time you re-release something. And with minimum order quantities, you sort of run into an issue where, as the demand diminishes, your cost is actually going up, because a smaller production run costs more per unit. Although you're able to sort of spread the tooling cost now, so it sort of changed. Anyway, it's just very complicated. But it's a numbers game. And Ray, I do want another now. Yeah, so you're saying you want a second one. Exactly. That's the thing. Oz is here. What's going on? Allison Troy has joined us as well. Gloomy fall goblins. It's gloomy here. It's like gray and dark and rainy outside, so I'm feeling that. The real Zim, I'm going to keep 1 stinger in the box, but I admit I have no idea where I'm going to display all of my stuff. Yeah, I'm running out of stuff. The floor has become... That's why I got to build... That's why I should probably build the pit. Is I could store the vehicles in there. Let's see. Trying to catch up on the comments, and then we'll move along. Brian Brink, good point. Maybe for the vamp, they were testing the waters and only put on pulse. This was great resume builder for them regarding a larger retail vehicle. Don't need HasLabs for everything. Totally agree. And I believe that and I do this every time. When you're live, you understand what I'm talking about, or not talking about. You forget the names of things. The Thunder Machine. So the Thunder Machine, they've said, does not need a HasLab to do it. And I think they're smart to do the vamp, to do the stinger. I could see them doing another version of the vamp, and then I think we could see like the Thunder Machine. And then they'll have numbers. Then they'll have a pretty decent pool of numbers to sort of go on to determine how many determine like how many of them to make. They will know who's buying how many, how often, how long it takes to sell through X number of units, so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, I bring on the like medium-sized vehicles, Ray, I just want an extra vamp. I don't care what they do. Fair enough. Brian Brink says, I went full upgrade with Gridiron for my vamp. It's nuts. Love it. Yeah, fair enough. Star says, I can't decide. All my favorite vehicles turn into alien robots. Well, those are out there too, if you want those. Oz says, you can always skip my comments. I skip comments where it's conversations that people are having in the comments with each other, but if it's relevant, I'll always bring it up. If I bought these, I'd be wondering what its name is. That is totally fair, and I totally get it. Okay, moving on. As I said, I'm gonna pull this down just for now, because I can't remember what the next slide is. Oh no, I can bring that back up. Oh shoot, there we go. I'm really hoping that we get some news on, the talk about, a HasLab. I'm really hoping that we get some news on the Dragonfly. For some reason, I feel like the Dragonfly was scheduled to be released this year in 2024. So, but we haven't seen much update wise. We haven't seen production samples. We haven't seen the figures. We're still waiting on Crazy Legs. We haven't seen anything more than these digital renders. Or sorry, not even digital renders, just 2D render. We haven't seen anything past 3D renders for Ripcord or Glenda. Now, Glenda is a little bit different because we have gotten Scarlet in hand. So we do, I mean, for all intents and purposes, we do know what that figure is going to look like. Ripcord, on the other hand, we haven't seen at all, although there might be some Airborne in there. I'm not sure. I admittedly haven't opened my Airborne yet. So there may be some reuse there. But I'm hoping that first week, Yojo June reveals on was it Tuesday that they're doing? Is it the 4th or the Tuesday or Wednesday? I hope that we get an update on the Dragonfly, and I anticipate that at San Diego Comic-Con, maybe they have a production sample. If they don't announce another HasLab and they don't have a sample of that at San Diego Comic-Con, but I'm not sure. But I don't get hung up on a lack of updates. I know that the his tank is fantastic, and if the Dragonfly is anything like the his tank, I'm gonna be over the moon. I'm admittedly way more excited for most of the Joe vehicles than I am most of the Cobra vehicles, just because of personal preference. But yeah, I can't wait. And the Dragonfly is going to be awesome. And I think, we've got the SMS or the HM, what is it? I don't know, the Cobra missile system, basically to shoot this guy down. And we've got that in hand now. So I'm really looking forward to this. And then the other vehicles. As far as what else is coming out for Yojo June, I'm not even going to get into it because there's so much stuff, and I think I think every week we will have more Yojo June stuff to talk about. So I don't want to even jump into like speculation about like, okay, well, what are we going to see after this stuff? What's the next thing that we're going to see? So I will leave that for future weeks. Mr. Backtastic, David says, can't wait for the Yojo June stream on Tuesday. Yeah, me too. I'm excited for it. I hope that they sort of give us like a roadmap of like what we might see in June. And I'm sure we're gonna get probably a wave of figures to be revealed and then open for pre-order, and then we'll go from there. I could see them doing another HasLab, but I think they would probably wait till the end of June, just to sort of build up Yojo June, build up the hype to that point. But we'll see. And Raypass says, yeah, Dragonfly, it's released this year if everything works out as planned. So let's keep our fingers crossed. So odd to see a military Cobra attack copter in the GI Joe fleet. What's Cobra using? A Freedom tank? Well, they did repurpose the Mobat for that black version. But anyway, Mr. Wonderful is here as well. What's going on, Mr. Wonderful? Moving on, let's talk about this. This is also pretty big news. This is pretty exciting. Mixed reviews, admittedly. I have seen very mixed reactions to these figures. There is admittedly a lot of parts reuse here. We are, of course, talking about the Mythic Legion's Ashes of Agbendor wave that was revealed only Friday. I'm excited for these figures. I'll be the first to admit, there's a lot of stuff that I am not picking up here. There's only really one that I absolutely must buy. And then beyond that, there's 3 or 4 that I really want. But I'm gonna hold off a little bit because we've still got another wave of Mythic Legions that is going to be revealed in November. The sort of backlog of waves of Mythic Legions keeps piling up. And I'll be quite honest, there's other things that I'm really excited about, and there's other things that I I need my money for. As I said, right from the start, I got Joe Fest coming up. There's more Animal Warriors of the Kingdom stuff. Wave 4 is going to be out soon, and I know I'm going to probably end up buying a few copies of each of those figures. Still figuring out what more I need to add to my backer kit for Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. The Creative Beast Studios stuff. I mean, they're going to be at Joe Fest. I'm probably going to pick up a dino or two down there. Try to figure out what I might need going forward with those as well. They're about to do pre-orders for the Black Smilodon, as well as the alternate paint for the Allosaurus and the alternate paint for the Dilophosaurus. So I can't collect all the things, and I'm trying I'm trying to cut back on some things. So Mythic Legions is one where I've got a pretty good collection of Mythic Legions, and I've still got a whole bunch on pre-order, and I'm running out of space, and it takes up a huge amount of space. Just as a reference point, I will show you this. My Mythic Legions shelf is like that whole shelf over there. That's full, and that's like, they're stacked pretty deep. They're like 3, 4, 5 figures deep on that shelf, standing just in generic pose. Like, there's a lot of figures there, and I got these guys here, and I got some that aren't even on the shelf because I don't have enough room. I've got a bunch in a pile across from me right over there. I've got more in, my fodder bin's got like full figures in it and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as far as this wave goes, I mean, I don't think it's going to be any surprise to anybody that Kai Pacha is the one that I absolutely must have. The cats are amazing. That might be the best one that they've done. Balam is fantastic. One of my he's in my top 3 favorite Mythic Legions figures. Yosef, the gold Yosef of the Golden Spear with those angel wings. That I don't love knights, but I really need those angel wings. The goblins look fantastic. I love me some goblins, and there's a bunch of cool new parts there, or sort of repaints and stuff like that. So that's in that want pile. Zhu, I think XYU. That's got to be Zhu, right? I don't know. I didn't watch the video. I didn't watch them do the live reveals, but that one is in my want list. The Blue Shield Soldier is in the want list. As a Spirit Bender version 2 is in the want list. Frost Ogre, not for me. Shadow Centaur, not for me. Gold Skeleton 2, not for me. As a Spirit Bender is sort of low on the list because I have most of the Asa parts. Like, I have the hooded head and then the painted body parts, where I have a version of Asa Spirit Bender already, and I'm good with that. Again, the Blue Shield Knight, there's lots of cool parts going on there. There's the soft goods in there, super nice. I've got plenty of spare heads that I could use. Do I need another knight though? And that's where it sort of lands for me, is like, I just don't know what at some point you just have enough. You just have enough things. But again, that Kai Pacha is without a doubt my favorite. Plus you get the alternate heads, you get a bunch of cool parts that are in there. So yeah. Let's see here. Mr. Wonderful, which one is your which one is your must have? It's Kai Pacha without a doubt. That's the one that I'm definitely going to lock in with a pre-order, and then the other ones will be once they start delivering. I'll see what I've got. Again, these will fall under that category of like, do I have a little bit more in the coffers to pick one or two more up? Brick says, if I'm good, meaning if he's behaving and sort of keeping to his plan, only getting Aza 2, Shadow Centaur, and Ju. They pronounced it Shui. Shui? Okay. I could see that. I could see that. That's gonna confuse a whole lot of people. But that's fine. Shui it is. That's like the very, very Chinese pronunciation of it, I think. But I think it could go either way. I've seen like XI pronounced G and she. So yeah, I guess it works. I don't speak Chinese, so I don't know. Also, Chinese is not a language. I'm not super ignorant, just a little ignorant. Star says, of all those figures there, is there any single fig you would choose to keep if you had to dispose of all but one? Any figure that just does it? Kai Pacha. That's it. That's the only one. And Ray says, are you taking us right into Brick? No, I'm going to try to wrap this up before too long here. We're just about at an hour. I won't go much longer. I'm not going to go too in depth with the Mythic Legion stuff. I know that Brick is very likely going to go much more in depth than I will. I also know that like Jesse Arnold and those guys have done great videos. Dork Lair did a great video, like deep diving into these figures, doing a lot more work, doing a lot more homework than I did as far as the Mythic Legion stuff goes. And I'll be totally honest, those guys do it better than I do. I'm not all in on Mythic Legions anymore. I still love them. I absolutely love these figures. They're such quality figures. But just there's so much other stuff going on in the toy world. That's quite frankly more exciting to me right now. So damn. Brick said, I think Zui based on my Mandarin, but Shui is two Wayne's Worlds. Yeah, it is. It is a little bit. It is. It definitely is a little bit. On Brick says, not in depth. Passing shots today. Okay, that fair enough. So Brick's not going much deeper, but as I said, there's a bunch of videos out there. If you want more in depth, if you want to see sort of all the pictures for these, go to sourcehorseman.com. Check out the videos that Hedgehog did, Dorklair did, Jesse did, Shooting the Shelf. Jesse has so many different shows and things but it's out there. I know they did it. They did it like right after the reveals. So let's see. Ray Pass says, any AWOC update? What do you want for an update? We still haven't unlocked the elephant. When's the last day to put in your order? June 26th. When does it charge? June 27th. Mr. Wonderful says, you know what Mythic Legions is missing? A graphic novel. They'd have me with that for the lore. They have a graphic novel. And it's okay. But it's really just like a preface. There's not as much depth there. But anyway. Thanos, I only went for the goblins, the centaur, and the frost ogre. Star says, new Flame Toys stylized Starscream figure up for pre-orders, blowing my mind. Everybody's got different tastes, and there's just way too much cool stuff. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Oz. So Jesse's Let's Go Off-World podcast did their sort of very in-depth deep dive into this. They did it on Friday night, so let's see. Mr. Wonderful, it's a one-off. Yeah, it came out a long time ago. It's available in the Cabal If you're in the Cabal, there's a spot where you can go and click files, and you can basically download a PDF version of it for free. And Ray Pass says the Savage Crucible comic is fun if you want something to read. I think he's probably read that one. Oz says the graphic novel is part of the Kickstarter, but the book Rise of the Dark Ones is coming soon. Ish. Exactly. Okay. One last thing before we go. And Mr. Wonderful says, I've read that multiple times. I need more. I need the second one, because the second one is going to be a one shot for Jaeger, and Jaeger is my favorite figure that they revealed. So, all right. Last but not least, so this came up. I don't even know when this came up, but this is up. I believe it goes up for pre-order tomorrow. The Naruto ramen restaurant. Just kidding, not this one. This one is Playmobil, and I didn't know this existed until today, and now I kind of want this one as well. But the SH Figure Arts Naruto ramen restaurant, which comes with the restaurant, which I believe is like foam core, and then bowls of ramen plus extra bowls plus the stools. I love this thing. I think this thing is really, really cool. I have the SH Figure Arts Dragon Ball like restaurant scene, and it's so good. Like, it's so well done. That one's relatively inexpensive. I kind of think this might be relatively inexpensive as well. I haven't seen a price on this at all. But I want it. And I'm patiently waiting for this to go up for pre-order, where I typically get my SH Figure Arts stuff from. We'll see who sort of puts it up first. Thanos says, I want this. Oz says, wait, Playmobil Ramen Shop? When did that happen? I don't know. I genuinely don't know, but it's out and available now. They've been doing that Playmobil Naruto stuff for a while, and they're really, really good. It's just the SH Figure Art stuff is way better. If I wasn't way too deep in too many other lines, that Playmobil, I would probably go really hard on Playmobil if I wasn't collecting everything else. Star says a few alterations. We've got a beautiful Blade Runner playset. Absolutely. I would love to see a Blade Runner action figure line. It would be a very small line, admittedly, but I would love to see those figures. That would be a cool backdrop for my Jada Street Fighters. What's the scale? So SH Figure Arts typically scales a little smaller than most other things, but it would be passable. I genuinely think it would be passable. Ray says, I'm still Joe Masterverse High, Joe Street Fighter, AWOC, and some indies plus Kickstarter. That's exactly. I can't collect all the things, so I can't do Playmobil. Oz says this one is cool too, and kind of want it. Just worried I'll get hungry every time I play with it. This will be cool because this will be it. I mean, if it's anywhere near what the that Dragon Ball one was, it's probably going to be like $30, which is I think very, very reasonable. Even though it's kind of foam core and it looks like you kind of have to like clip it together with these like plastic bits, top and bottom. You could probably glue them or something, but I mean, really, what you're getting it for is what's going on here with the bowls and stuff like that. Star says, what does the sign read? If you mean this one here, it says ramen, and then I don't know what this is, but this is somebody else might know. I don't know. But then on the side, like it just has other stuff that like says taste good. It tastes good, and then you got your menu board in here. I can't see it very well. The only one I can really read very well, it says the bottom one says rice, which is not. It's not what it. Japanese doesn't, they don't spell rice like that. But anyway, um, uh, yeah, it's the same on both. This one I can't make out either. I skip back to see. I don't know what this one says. This is typically this will mean number one for something. So it probably says like most delicious or something like that. I just don't recognize this kanji here. And this stuff's too small to read. I can only read that bottom one. So, um, yeah. Uh, I think the anyway. Anyway, I'm not gonna spend I'm not gonna spend 10 minutes trying to read what says in the sign. Let's see. Star, does it light up? It does not light up. To the best of my knowledge, what you're looking at is sort of what you get. Um, well, that's not entirely true. So these bowl, you can't see what's in these bowls, but there's like ramen in these bowls. Wait, maybe I can find. And I'll end on this if I can find the pictures, because there is like there is pictures floating around. Yeah, this'll work. Now it's last minute, so I can't do much for like blowing it up. But there you go. So you get the ramen shop, and then you get all the extra bowls. You get 2 bowls of ramen. You get glasses. You get spare hands. You get these ones are spare hands with chopsticks and then noodles. You get alternate sort of eating faces for the 2 versions of Naruto. And then you get a cup of chopsticks. So I just think it's a really, really cool set. I think it's just a fun set. And for me, like, that's what's cool, like I like that it's just fun. Like it's not trying to be anything that it's not. It's just trying to be a cool set for you to play with. Let's see. Well, a couple minutes of chat, and then I'll wrap it up. Ray Paz says, "I'm hoping I can get you to read Jodorowsky and Mobius, the Inkle. For those who haven't read it, I'd also love if someone made those as figures." I've seen that stuff. I know what it is. Utama actually is big into that stuff. Which I think is fairly obvious from his art style. So yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen it for sale anywhere, so I wouldn't know where to read it. Like, I'm aware of it. I've never actually read it. Like, I've seen pages, but I've not had the actual book in front of me. Thanos says, "I love things like that. We definitely need more." Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's hard though. Like, having spoken to people that make toys, more specifically action figures, the reality is that's just a totally different. Like, it's in most cases it's not like the same factories, right? Like the foam core stuff is not the same factory that's making the injection molded plastic stuff. There's just a whole so you're basically, it's like a different toy line. So the guys that can do it are the guys that are sort of big enough companies that they can have a team that does something else. It's just not feasible for any of the indie guys, really. But yeah, I would love to see it too. I would love somebody to approach Spiro Studios and say, "Hey, look, here, I have an idea for this playset. Um, can I sort of put the AWalk logo on it and sort of have it be endorsed by you guys or whatever?" I know for a fact that Jason would be into that. So if you're out there and you want to start a toy line and have it sort of tie in, let me know. Yeah, it's, as I said, it's just it's too far removed from how you make toys to make play sets. Like it's a totally different thing. And the idea that people have that you sort of, oh, you just expand it, you just make a bigger sort of thing. If you made play sets the way that people make action figures, it would be incredibly expensive. The play sets would be incredibly expensive. They need to be made completely different, and that's why it ends up being made in a completely different factory and almost by somebody else, right? So, yeah. Brick something says your idea about someone approaching Spiro, that's in the works. I'm kind of aware of that. Yes. I'm just putting it out there, right? I'm just putting it out there in the world that Animal Warriors of the Kingdom is not likely anytime soon going to make play sets. However, there is the potential and the possibility for play sets to be endorsed by Spiro Studios that would fit within the world of Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, or other adjacent things. So stay tuned for more on that. Anyways, we are just short of an hour 15. I know that the time it takes me to wrap things up, it's probably going to be an hour 15 before we wrap up. It's been a pleasure. There's going to be way more toy news, guys. There's going to be way more toy news this month. I'm excited for all of it. I can't wait to sort of talk about it more, share with you guys more. If you guys aren't already, come check out on Saturday nights. If you're as much of a nerd as we are, check out the Ostradamus Toys YouTube channel. Come hang out in the clubhouse with us. We just shoot the shit, talk toys for minimum 3 hours, usually like 6. So if you're into that sort of thing, come hang out with us. If you're not into that sort of thing, kick rocks. But if you are into talking about toys, in about 3:45, Brick? Are you going? Is it 3:30 or 3:45? Very shortly, over on the Brick Something YouTube channel, Brick will be going live to talk about more toys, and very likely stuff that I haven't talked about. So go check that out. You have just enough time. It is in fact 3:45. It has been confirmed. 3:45. So you have enough time to grab a snack, have a bit of a bathroom break, and go check out more Toy Talk. And then when Brick's done, you take your pick. You got the Hella Dope channel, you've got Geek Dad Life, and on and on and on. The Toy Tube never ends. Never ends. Anyways, it's been an absolute pleasure, guys. I will talk to you all very, very soon. Allow me to put on the sad music so that we all understand that the show is over. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.